but the way I was with it was as if I should just come to the set, I won't be able to do anything, so I just have to go and settle myself.
It's necessary. It's very, very necessary.
Like man, this I said.
Yes.
Man is that to settle himself.
I've settled myself. I set myself early before leaving the house. So
Okay, before leaving the house.
For some of us, we can't settle ourselves early because it's not really, we don't feel comfortable when we do it. It makes me want to sleep. Settle myself before coming to this set.
Okay, settling ourselves. So why don't we say it? There is nothing wrong. Eating. Yes.
So I'll be having that urge to just sleep and sleep. When it's not up to 10, I can't eat.
Oh, that's good. There are times that.
After this program, so
My own, it depends on my appetite. The way the thing do me.
Concentrate very well, man.
So, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Well, is there anything to nothing significant to?
Yeah, but I've been wondering. Today is Thursday, Throwback Thursday, and I was wondering some of those myth or lies that we were told kind of growing up, and later we find out that this thing doesn't work. I thought about one. I said, when we were growing up, they say if you don't eat before you sleep, you'll be counting rats while sleeping, which literally they're trying to say you won't be able to sleep.
Well, yes.
Another one was when your teeth is broken, you have to run around there 7 times and throw it so that it can grow up, come quickly. All those things, are they really real? or what are some of those things that you were told while growing up that after growing up now you look them and you look at them and say,
they are more like social philosophies that they were constructed by people to curtail some things for children, especially for children or for people. One of which is that when you want to eat and you are eating at the passage or by the door side, that you will not be satisfied. So the mentality is that as you are sitting down to eat, somebody may want to walk in, they will say, stand up. You will stand, you may lose the appetite, or you may not even be able to fully put yourself into eating of the food. So there are quite a number of them.
They're also the one that you say, if you have any pain on your leg, you go and kneel down at the dump site so that the thing will get healed faster. And also, if you eat inside the pot, that when you give birth, your baby's back will be black.
How about you? Anyone? Can you remember anyone?
Yes, so, there's this one that anytime, any day, I will always remember. It's the one that our mothers used to tell their daughters then that don't talk to any man. If you talk to any man, even by talking to you get pregnant. So I grew up with all of that, and now that we know better, we know that it's just a lie. There's nothing like that.
Okay. I don't know. Do we still, our generation, pass such things down to younger?
I don't think so.
I think there was a time that there was a time that we did something like that. Those are for Yoruba. I don't know your own culture or tribe. When a child is disturbing, you can just go and meet Yalagbaja and collect arodon. The arodon in English it's poor interpretation, may mean something. Just go and collect something. So when the person gets to hear about it, knows that this child is disturbing in the house. So they want him or her to leave the house, and the person will know that they want him to just stay here. Just say, don't worry, sit down. Let me look for it, or I will send my child to get it for you, but ensure that you wait. So after a while, they will now say, go and meet your mommy. I will bring it. Or I have sent somebody to go and deliver it. So, and children those days will always fall victim to that.
Do we say that is it bad on our own part, parents of these days, that we don't follow up that, or is it that we know better and hope it won't affect our own children? Because to some extent, like you said, they tend to curtail us, some of those things that we're told, whether they are lies or just social philosophies. They tend to curtail us while growing up. So why we now having children, we don't tell them all those things? Is it not, will I put it nicely, poor in our own parts? Or is it that we are not making they are growing up fun like our own was fun?
Sometimes it is not that we don't want to try it. the children we have these days, they are the ones that will ask questions.
They will ask questions.
Don't do it like this. Okay, if you do it, why?
Why?
How?
How?
Let me tell me why. I have 2 young ones, and they will always ask questions. They will always ask questions. So those days, we are not so confident enough to ask to challenge our parents.
Yes.
But these days, they see it as a normal thing. You tell your child something, they begins to negotiate. Even if you want to flog the child, it begins to negotiate with you. Daddy, don't flog me yet. Wait. And things like that. So that is one of those things that is making those kind of cultural expectations to move away.
Okay.
There's something I remember, and I don't know if it has happened to anybody. I don't know. It's not that I don't understand English, but I don't know. Maybe unconsciously that thing will just happen, or maybe I can't really say. Like when you have to go to maybe places like malls or supermarkets where they have this glass door, and there's the pull and there's the push.
Okay. A lot of people don't know the difference between pull and push. That's true.
Even in the bank there.
I've been embarrassed several.
A lot of people. Push.
I can
Push.
understand.
You would have pull instead of push.
Yes.
That has happened to you before.
It has happened to you. So it's not a matter of I don't understand English.
It is not. You know, at that time, sometimes you have to just stay and think and reason it. What does it exactly mean? So that I will not go and embarrass myself at this age. So,
or you wait for somebody to first pass, so you see the person's the person that has done it, so that you too you follow.
It can be
funny. I've been there before. That I was looking like a Monday. Please, let's go to the next segment of the program, newspaper review segment, and we have some of Nigerian dailies with us this morning. I have the Nigerian Tribune, and the major headline we have on the Nigerian Tribune this morning is about the COVID-19, and it says here that federal government to enforce compulsory vaccination for workers from December 1st. I'm reading taking the Nigerian Tribune right now. Yeah. So the major headline is federal government to enforce compulsory vaccination of workers from December 1st, to issue revised protocol within 24 hours. And also, they have taken South Africa, Turkey, Brazil off restriction list. Now, we were saying this before we came on air. I was talking to Sam, and we were saying jokingly that we'll be forced to get this vaccination, even we that are here. But it has to, the management has to give us that order. Because I know most of us, if not all of us here, have not been vaccinated. And the way the federal government is doing it is that you must be vaccinated. I remember just Monday, my father-in-law wasn't vaccinated, and he had to take a flight from Abuja to Lagos. He was forced to do it in the airport there. He was scared, sort of, and he called and everything. And we had to tell him that even the fathers too have taken it. So making it compulsory for all of us is to our benefit and for our benefit.
Let me come in there and comment a bit about it. The problem of a lot of people not yet vaccinated is not because of the conspiracies or myths that is on vaccine. Why there is, a lot of people believe some insidious things about it. The fact is that some people would have loved to get vaccinated, but because this Nigerian system, where something is a federal thing for you to go and do, go and register, go and do things, you know that when you get there, the process will not be seamless.
Yeah.
You have to queue. It may be you have to follow some bureaucratic processes which will stall the process. Sometimes you will get there for like a day, you will not even be able to do anything. And even though you are going to be on queue, they will not have provisions for you to stay under the shelter and things like that. You know, that's the same thing that is happening to this voters card and things like that. So many people will not want to leave their businesses and go to a system where you know that the process will not be so seamless for you to just get there, register, and get your jab almost immediately.
Is there anything in Nigeria that you can easily get, as far as even opening a bank account, registering your SIM? They are not.
Except you know somebody. When you just get there, you call the person, so the person will come and pick you from the queue.
Maybe if those things are sorted, where you just drive in and get your jab and leave, it will encourage many people. And another thing, because we also have it here, is that do we have enough of these doses? So this vaccine, is it enough for everybody? If you mandate it, if you say that you want everybody to have it, are you sure that if we all decide to go out and get it, we are not going to exhaust what you have? And you now say, hey, come back next week, or we have to order for the next batch that will be coming. So those are the things the government should ensure they put in place before they enforce those things. Getting vaccinated is highly important. It is important. It helps to curtail the spread of COVID-19.
All right. That story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. If you are interested in that story, Nigerian Tribune, if you're interested, page 2. Just beneath it on page 21, we have it here that the PDP chairmanship, North Central, picks Ihocha Ayu as consensus candidate. That is on page 21. Then page 18, over 75 billion naira required to urgently fix 194 damaged roads coming from the federal government. Over 75 billion naira is required to fix 194 damaged roads. That is on page 18. That is coming from the Minister of Works, Babatunde Fashola. Yes, that is him that is saying that. If you want a quick edited story of that report, you can go to page 18. And on page 2, Oyo APC leaders agree on new sharing formula for state ESCOs ahead of Saturday Congress. Oyo APC leaders agree on new sharing formula for state ESCOs ahead of Saturday Congress. That is on page 2. And on the back page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we have that deplorable condition of Nigerian roads, ban of economic sustainability. Yes, that is one of those issues. People are complaining about the road. And, you know, if the road is bad, goods that are even coming from one part of the country to another part will be delayed, and it's not good for the economy, for business, for anything. So that story is on the back page if you're interested in that one. And on page 8, they have that housing agencies in 24 states failed to make impact in the last 12 months. There is a report coming in this morning that housing agencies in 24 states failed to make impact in the last 12 months. If you want to read that, you go to page 8. And still on page 8, insurgents establishing camps in Abuja, Niger, dangerous and Afenifere ones. That's coming from the Afenifere, saying that insurgents are establishing camps in Abuja and in Niger, and calls for urgent action for Nigeria not to go under that knife. That story is on page 8. And on page 19, we have it that 2022 budget, reps call for improved non-oil revenue, power transmission orders, seek downward review of 6 trillion deficit, borrowing may increase budgetary allocation for road infrastructure gap. Please, they should increase the budget for power transmission. We need power in this country. With power, businesses will run smoothly, things will go smoothly in this country. That story is on page 19 of the Nigerian Tribune. That's all. Okay, before I go, we have it here that the Naira Untold story. Before CBN included toothpicks in the dollar access prohibition list, Nigeria was spending up to 26 million naira importing wooden toothpicks from China and Germany. So it's coming out to say before CBN withdrew toothpick from the importation list, Nigeria was spending 26 million on importation of toothpicks from China and Germany. Toothpicks that we can easily make.
I can do it.
Yes, it's better.
That is, oh, okay. Okay, the picture story is of the Globalcom management unveiling the world's biggest dance challenge, Globe Battle of the Year in Lagos yesterday. That's all for now from my end. Good.
I have the Nation newspaper this morning, and the headlines: PDP chairman, North party leaders consensus plan Shaki. 3 geopolitical zone picks different candidates. Mark, Ghana, Idris withdraw. Bank, we can find that on page 4. Bank gets deadline on dead customers' BVNs. We can find that on page 11. Igboho seek nods for treatment in Germany or France. We can find that on page 6. Ozodinma renames Hero Square after Ndubuisi Kanu. You can find that on page 6 also. Senate invites work ministry orders over foreign loans. You can find that on page 4. Anambra 2021. Soludo may know fate at Supreme Court today. Be ruthless with criminals, IG tells of officers. Moghalu urges electorate to vote ADC. You can find that on page 2 and 27 of the Nation newspaper. 300 trillion naira fabric sector fund projected for National Development Plan. Federal government to inject 50 trillion naira. You can find that on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And down here, COVID-19 November deadline for federal workers to get vaccinated. Government relax restriction on travelers from Brazil, Turkey, South Africa. You can find that on page 4. Obaino Deputy Okeke dumps APGA for APC. You can find that on page 27. 22 internet fraud suspects held in Ogbomosho. You can find that on page 3. Court finds Fani Kayode. You can find that on page 6. And the picture story here is where the Deputy Governor of Anambra State with handing over, they were giving him the flag of APC. So he was moving from APGA to APC. And that's all from me from the Nation newspaper.
Okay, sir.
And lastly, with the paper we have here, with the Punch. And the main headline is about the health workers and the plan for deadline December 1. I won't repeat that again. I'll go up straight. Reps fault budget deficits. Loans, $57 oil benchmark, threaten MDAs. That's on page 19. And Sajay, Budge IT condemned 700 billion naira National Assembly constituency project in 6 years. Still on page 11. Reps tackle banks avoiding probe into custom revenue remittance on page 20. And also on page 20, Senate summons Power Ministry, orders over Buhari loans, warns of sabotage on page 20. Amidst downward forecast, IMF increases Nigeria's growth prospects by 0.1% on page 21. Moghalu announces 6-party planned merger, hails e-transmission of results. That's on page 9. Moghalu, is he still in the race?
Yes,
That's towards 2023.
Yes.
Okay.
He has declared openly last week.
Obaseki meets Buhari on ranching fund, backs e-transmission of results. Page 10. Igboho developed kidney problem in Benin prison. Lawyer. That's on page 11. Obiano's deputy defects to APC. APGA declares prayers on pages 9 and 15. On 4.9 billion naira fraud. Judge angry as Fani Kayode shuns trial for 5th time on page 27. Ondo masquerader face prosecution for cash theft, phone recovered on page 5. And lastly, speeding, night traveling, others kill 532 on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, others in 2021. That's on page 4. And the photo news is about the picture of the governor of Imo State, Uzodinma, other government officials and family members during the arrival of the remains of Rear Admiral Ndubuisi Kanu in Owerri, Imo State, yesterday.
Okay, the review won't be completed without me reading the sideline from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. It's not really an interesting one, but it's an issue that is affecting all of us, and I know Biodun have been talking about this issue for a while. It says analysts have warned that 12.5 kg of cooking gas may jump to 10,000 naira by December. If this becomes so, what then can the poor have to purchase? What then can the poor have a means to purchase? It's asking a question, what then can the poor have a means to purchase?
So what is, because we need to start considering kerosene back.
Kerosene
too is expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. Just 2 days ago, the gas got finished. I know I will not have money to get 12.5 kg. I had to take the 5 kg.
Okay.
And I was hoping I could get it sorted out because I had 2,005 with me. That's before, because at the point it was
2005.
Okay. At the point it was 1.5, went to 1.8, went to 2.2. I got there and the person was telling me that it's 3,000. I was like, jeez, and I have 2.5 with me. Where are we going to? And we must eat.
Definitely.
So
kerosene is expensive.
It's expensive.
Even charcoal too
It's
is coming up too. Because
It
they are
has to,
aware
it
now,
has to now.
because they
You
are
know
aware
that
that
they will start
everybody is
coming to meet
to
them.
meet them.
So,
So all those things, they are
you cannot
just
use
doing
electric cooker that much because
Because
the
of-
light too.
We're using
When you load your
Your card.
with I don't know. It's
Last week, the 2 gas, my 12 kg and 6 kg, I made both of them there was none. And my husband had to carry the 2, hoping that with 10,000 we'll be able to fill the 2. When he got there, the 12.5 was 7.5. The other one was 3, almost 11,000. When he brought the receipt, I was just saying, now, I beg, small.
It's just gas. No
Only
food,
gas,
no
there's
food.
no
It
food.
doesn't turn into food.
Food,
Yes, you want to
almost
now cook
11,000 something to load to fill the 2 gas. I just
I'm
way
reduced.
things is going.
I've told my dad because
From
he
3,000
loves children very well and wants us to give birth to. We have reduced it. I've told him that. Now it's true. So I was thinking 4 before. 4 reduced it to 3. Now I reduced 3 to 2. This country. That's it. I will be lying down here because this morning, because it's Thursday. But let's go and see what Pastor Solomon has for us today. Pastor Solomon, over to you. Viewers, good morning, oh. How are you? I hope you sleep well. How was your night? My night was splendid. It was fine. My viewers, good morning, oh. How are you? I hope you sleep well. How was your night? My night was splendid. It was fine. I had good dreams. You see, today is Thursday. And I've come with another word of wisdom, and I want you to listen very well. The word of wisdom will explain itself. I will not need to explain, I will not need to waste much time on it. Practice does not make perfect. Only perfect practice makes perfect. Practice does not make perfect. Only perfect practice makes perfect. There's a popular saying that practice makes perfect. What kind of practice? What kind of practice? You are practicing to achieve what? Are you just practicing? You did not develop anything on the practice. You are just practicing. And you are saying practice makes perfect.
It is possible for somebody to be doing one thing repeatedly and refuse to achieve something good or that thing. It is just a mere exercise, a mere play. Practice does not make perfect, but a perfect practice makes perfect. Makes your practice perfect. Be perfect in whatever you are doing. Improvement, that is what I'm talking about. Improve on your practice. Improve on what you are doing. If you are an instrumentalist, improve on it. Yeah, if you are a musician, improve on it. If you are a photographer, like Tobla, improve on it. Yeah, a lot of instrumentalists, they practice every day. When they hear one sound, they take it, they practice on it. You see, they are trying to make their practice perfect. It is not just practice. Practice does not make perfect. It is perfect practice that makes perfect. That is the word of wisdom I have for you today. And I know it has done you well. Join me tomorrow. Tomorrow is another Friday. And I cannot wait. Make sure the Bible is your watchword, because the Bible is my watchword. Till tomorrow, we shall see so. Bye.
Thank you, Pastor Solomon, for that wonderful wise words. Pastor Solomon will be here with us tomorrow also to give us another wise words. Now to the discussion for this morning. A lot of people, or some people, believe that the standard of education is low in the country because those who need it can't afford it. So they are of the opinion that if we make this education for all levels free, it might improve the standard of education in our country. So this morning we have this question we want to ask, and we want you to contribute also, because the phone line will be open for you to call in. Would free education for all levels improve the standard of education? With free education for all levels, talking from the primary to secondary to university, improve the standard of education in Nigeria? So we want you to call in to tell us what you think about that. I will be happy to have you. I still have with me Sam, Tokwe, and also Abiodun to talk about that. So, guys, like I said, people have different opinions, and some have said to come out to say those who need it can't afford it. I know the government have tried in some regards to have free meals for children that are going to public schools, reduce the school fees to the barest minimum for public schools also, but some people believe that is not enough. From you guys now, let me start from Sam. What is your reaction to that, what we are talking about? Are you in that school of thought also that free education might eventually help?
Well, free education in Nigeria, when we look at it, I may not be able to answer directly like I did the other time. But I'm just going to reason into it and make some points on it. Before now, Nigeria had once attempted free education, especially for the primary level in the 1950s. It was more like a way to test it out, look at it. A lot of people can't afford education, the Western education, and let us try as much as we believe that education will, at the end of the day, improve the economy of the nation if we have more educated and literate people. And if we have the basic education to be free, a lot of people will be able to become better. But a lot of researchers have gone into looking at whether that time, whether it was actually effective, it achieved the objective that the government aimed to set at that point in time by offering the free universal basic education. Some say it achieved, some say no, it did not achieve. So, and at a point it stopped. And it has now become one of those high points for political aspirants, government house aspirants, saying that I'm going to provide. It is more like something that a normal thing. You expect to hear it in the next election. Free education for all, getting to the point of we even be giving you food. Your parents can start coming to school to eat, and we will do all those things. You know, those aspirants can say quite a lot of things. But looking at how, if it will really solve our problem, especially in this day and age, it might not exactly, but it will help a lot. It might not exactly, because we're now getting to the point where many people are now advocating for education is not so the normal, the 4 walls of the school is not so much the thing they need.
Yeah.
They want some other forms of education. And this form of education is the formal that we are talking about, whether free education will be enough for them. And even when it was free, some parents still have the opinion that I will not take my child to school. I would rather prefer my child to learn a trade or learn this thing. And we're not saying that it is if you...
To the viewers at home, the number you will be seeing on your screen is for youth education in our country. Like Sam, you've said, a lot of some people too have this opinion that that when you get something free, you won't get the best out of it.
Yes.
So in life, people have different opinion about things, and to some extent, it's true. Something that is free, the person might not really, people giving it might not really put their all in it, because they feel they are doing it. It's just a free will, a freebies, and they have that opinion also. For you, Abiodun, what do you think about? What's your reaction to this topic? Do you believe too that free education will go a long way?
I will not say free education will go a long way for many children that cannot afford it before. Many people will be able to go to school. Many people that have the passion of going to school before, they will have the opportunity going to school since it's free. But it's not that many people that, as we have said, many people, because it's free, they will not know the value. They just say because everybody just let us just go to school, that just have the certificate since it's free, let's go. But they will not have the passion, they won't have the zeal of what they want to aim or get. But if it's free, many people that are poor, many people that need it, they'll be able to achieve, and they have the passion to move forward, and it will help in a lot of things if it is free, and many people that are willing to read and go to school, because it will help in many things in the education system, even in the country all about. They'll be able, the technology, the economic, people will be able to, that vast people will be many in the country because they are educated. So they will be able to solve a lot of problems technologically. Different things will be happening moving forward in the country if there are those people that are willing to have the free education. And because many people will just say, let's just go, they will not be able to impact or improve what is going on in the country. But some that have the passion and the willing that if I go to school, I want to impact my country, I want to do many things, it will help a lot in the country.
Okay, if we know the true purpose of education, or the true essence of education, it will help us to, okay, let me put it, the 4 walls of the schools.
The formal education.
Yeah, the formal education. Maybe when we know the full or the true purpose for it, it will help us to understand and know if this free education might really go a long way to help us. Let's take this call. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
What is your name and where are you calling us from?
I am Akiola, calling from Niger State.
It's nice having.
Good
morning. It's nice having you with us. Good morning, sir. It's nice having you with us.
I want to say something about free education or the topic of today.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
How is it done in the Western region?
Yeah.
And many people that are the so-called elites today, many of them went through this free education, even in the north, in those days. So it depends on the pattern and the way the federal government put it, or the government put it down. And to say that probably when you get something that's free, you will not value it. How does even like me, I was part of a free education up to around 1968. So the government should do something in a way that people will appreciate it. In the Western region, we went through free education, and many people achieved a lot. And are we getting generally in the country today? So that is my only little contribution.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. From what you have said, the quality of education. What is the quality? What is even the importance, the main thing, the main importance of this education we are getting, this formal education? Has it really even helped in making us better as a people? Those are some of those questions we need to ask ourselves when talking about free education. Your reactions, on the topic?
Okay, well, free education to me, I know that when you said it, you said anything that is free, people don't appreciate it. That is number one. That's right. Then, when you say free education, we all know that when they say anything is free, that thing is not totally free. Because, like, okay, you still have some other, maybe the tuition will be out of it, but you still have to buy your books. If you're a science student, the lab is there and all of that. You still have to do all those ones. You still have to make payment for it. Even when they tell you free scholarship, you know that the free scholarship is not totally free. I've had opportunity to attempt a few of them. You see that when you get to a point, you see that it's not totally free, that you still have to make an effort. And the point is that free education is very good. And like our caller said, that if the government can look into the quality of education, then it will make it very, very nice, very, very okay for everybody. And again, it will take away so many children that are on the streets. We know a lot of people that they want to be educated, but because they are parents, we have them as friends, we have them as family members. That is not like they were not brilliant or they did not want to go to school. They wanted to at that particular time, but because their parents could not afford the school fees. So if at their time there was something like free education, those categories of people would have that opportunity to go to school then. But we should also look at it this way, that if you are giving free education, now the children, I mean, those that how do I put it? The people that you'll be giving the free education to, it will not make them to be serious, because they see it that after all it's not, and their parents, you know, as a parent, we know what it takes to work, hand money, and pay for school fees. So you know what it is. That's why you see some parents, you know, some children, when they are just going to school for the first time, or they are just newly in school, you see them crying. It doesn't stop anything from their parents saying that if you don't want to go today, go and sit down. But the parents will consider that what it cost her to pay the school fees, and now you are saying you don't want to go. That's why you see that some of them, they will like force them that they will drag them, you must go to school today. The fact that they know the importance, aside the fact that they know the importance of education, but that one too is also. But if it is free, if the child gets up in the morning and say, I'm not, the mother will see, after it doesn't cost me anything. Okay, you can as well sit down. And again, they would not be able to focus on their studies because it is free. And the teachers too will not want to be on them. It is free. Anything that is free is not valued, is not appreciated. You can do it anyhow. But when we want to look at the other side of it, that if we are given that opportunity, now for some students that we have that are doing part-time, a lot of people are going into part-time because they are the ones financing their education. That will give them the time to do full-time, and they will be able to focus. You know, do not go into workplace and become a half-baked person because you really concentrated. We all know what they do when it comes to part-time studies. So let me just rest.
Okay, the viewers, we are still expecting you to call in to tell us what you think about this topic. The last caller said, what is even the quality of education we are even getting with even the payment of school fees and the likes? If I try to just oppose it with not even paying at all, it's like we are going backward. If we are paying and we believe we are not getting the quality we need to get, that's why some people feel they have to take their children to private schools because that's where they will get the quality. What if they make it free? Won't it make it more worse? People will be having that. I have that notion too. That is my own position. But I ask this question, Sam. This education, this formal education, what is the purpose of it? You know, sometimes when we go to school, there are some mottos in some schools. They will say, to make you better and to improve your future. There are different mottos. What is really the essence of this formal education?
All right. So as an education student, I may not be able to actually give those 4 points that are the main purpose of education. I think one has to do with to inculcate the right values into a child, inculcation of the right value.
Sorry to cut you. Okay. Talking about values now,
yes.
I am of the opinion that we can't get the value we need as people to build us up, to be better people, to be better youth, better parents out there in the 4 walls of the school, formal education. I believe values is a thing of the home.
That is where sociology and socialization comes in. Those that study sociology and students of education who have good knowledge of sociology talks about agents of socialization. And there are different agents of socialization. Yes. The part of the parents is there. The part of the society is there. Religious organizations also play their own part in socializing the child. Then schools also play their part. All of them have. It is more like a system that helps each other. So what your mother and father is telling you, you get out of the house. You find big brothers on your street who will continue to enforce and instill it. Like the Yoruba adage will say that there's 4 eyes that give birth to a child, and over 200 eyes will take care of that child. So that is to tell you that you don't only get that value from your parents, you get to your school also, your teachers, whom you fear and revere, they will also continue to instill it. So school is also one important agent of socialization. So instilling that value is part of it. And also giving a sense of enlightenment. The education itself, it enlightens everyone. It tells you about what is happening around you, give you a sense of awareness, what is happening around you, and also what is happening in other places. So it gives you a sense of wholesomeness. You become a wholesome individual that has the knowledge to think, gives you the ability to learn and relearn, thinking on your own and by yourself.
Let's take this. Good morning. Thank you, Sam. If you put that clearly, I don't know. You can.
Okay, I didn't get that clearly, but let me just say this: I will appreciate people like Pakinola to respond and react to this topic because they are more of the beneficiary of the attempted free education. So you also are a beneficiary. So it will give a sense of people who have the experience, how it's happened and how it impacted them then. Also comparing it with their peers, because a statistics came out in the year 2020 that talks about the number of out-of-school students. Out-of-school students, especially in Nigeria, is always increasing. It was around between 10 and 12 million children that were out of school then. And I began to look at it. Why are they out of school? Even till this year, we still have about 10 million children out of school. Why are they out of school? The question is it because education is expensive? Is it because they cannot afford it? But I got to discover that it is just one of several factors that made them decide not to go to school. The cost of education, which is expensive, like the other day I was asking somebody, how much do you pay in your school? That's the tertiary institution. I'm saying about 300 and something thousand. We have schools that pay up to $1 million naira. And I was wondering, did I even spend up to that for the total amount of years I spent in school? I just imagine how some parents will begin to look for money to pay such. So that is where those will appreciate, especially those that want it. But it is just a factor. Some people will say, even if it is free, I don't want this education.
And again, another thing is that it's not that we cannot do, that the free is not good. You know, we know that anything that has to do with government, they always have a starting point. But maintaining it, that's where the problem, because like when we had it too, it was good. Then all of a sudden, they were giving us free biros, free all those things, textbooks, notebooks and all of that. Then all of a sudden, it stopped. It stopped. They couldn't give us again because they were complaining, the teachers were complaining, no money, no books, they could not supply them this and all of that. So we have to resort to getting all those things by ourselves again. Something that was supposed to be free till the end of your stay in school, but that was not it. So if we are talking about free, like he said, do we have the proper thing, the proper structure to do that in Nigeria so that it can last? If not, it will start, and it will get to that point. You know what happens in so many government parastatals these days. Sometimes you go there, they may not even come to work. They may not be around. They have to start giving you, come back to them. The same thing will happen to teachers because they won't come to school regularly. When they start owing them salaries because it is free, they tell that after all the parents are not, you are the one that promised and you started it. So when it gets to a point that they start owing them salaries and those one, don't you know that it is free? Then they will start exploiting the students again. You know your parents are not paying. So if you want us to give you quality education, okay, start paying, show you know all those things will come in. So we have to ensure that they put all this, the right structure in place. It is good. It is a very laudable idea. It's good. It is welcome because the major advantage is that it will take away people from the street, like the number that Maradesa gave us now. If all those ones now, we have free education and they have that opportunity to get them in school, you know what that will do to our society, to the families, to the parents. So,
okay, Biodun, for you, any reactions to that before we even talk about some of those things? No, we have talked that you have said that it's not just about being free, that free education that we need to improve our standard of education. We have other factors. But before we talk about one or two other factors, because we have less than 5 minutes, any reactions to what we are
major plans that they should put good plans in place if free education is going to be on ground, like he was saying about monitoring and supervising the teachers, everything, because now there is no more monitoring. Everybody will just go. They will actually supervise. Is anybody coming? If they are coming, please call me. I'll quickly come to school. So like some will not even. They'll just give the children their notes, write the notes, they will not even bother on what they are impacting to the children. So many children just say that our teacher, she will not come or he will not come. So it's affecting the quality of the education. That's why many people, some subjects, if it's this subject, some children will just say, let's go and play ball. We don't need we don't have the interest in it. Since the teachers will not even impact what is in the subject to them. So they need a lot of planning. If free education is going to be part of the system of this country back home, they need a lot of planning to achieve that. Okay,
well, thank you. Sam, we have less than 4 minutes. For you, what do you think we need to do to make this work? At the same time, what other things do we need to do to improve our standard of education?
Just imagine somewhere here we have we are talking about free education. Our focus is basically public schools.
Yeah.
So let's say in a community
Only
where
public school I can give,
Yes,
can get, except we have
private
NGOs,
school,
NGOs who are
and
ready to take that,
churches
or
who are
churches,
doing
yes,
that,
who are ready to take that.
So, because private school owners, they are in for the money. So, imagine a community where we have about, let's say, like 2 million people, and you situated just one school there. So, the school, and you make it free. You know that it will lead to a population explosion.
Of course.
Yes.
And that is where
course.
the quality that they will even get
yes.
there will even be low.
Below.
So it is not just about making it free. It is by looking into this education and saying that, are we able to cater for the number of people here with what we are bringing in? Because if you try it to be free, and even now that it is not solely free, though it's public schools are far cheaper than that of
it's
private
just
school.
cheaper, yes.
And you will see that in a classroom you can have GSS 1 to like high, and in one
A, B,
GSS
C,
1
D,
class,
E, F,
you
yes.
could, yes, GSS 1 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And in
Overpopulated
one,
class.
that GSS 1 A,
Yes.
they could have 120 students.
Students, populated class.
Overpopulated because they want it. So are we saying that, okay, they are going to school? All of them will tell you they are going to school. How many of them is coming back home with the right knowledge? The teacher may come to class. They may say teachers go to class. But it is not all of them that will get. Some will be at the back. Some,
It's not
like
even easy
Jeff,
for
will be in the
teachers.
back. And we're making noise and disturbing.
You are not there, but because of our time, your final words.
And you know it will even be a bad market for private schools, because even those who can afford it will start withdrawing their children from. So it still boils down that it's good, like we've been
It is
saying,
definitely
but
good.
the government should please do more. You
into
know,
it, yes.
from somebody like our caller and myself, that we gave our own experiences of free education. You know, we said it was good when it started, but the finishing line was doesn't watch it at all. So if they are ready, they should know that they are ready to do it, and they want to bring out something good out of it.
All right, thank you very much, guys, for joining this conversation this morning. At this hour, we can go. Unfortunately, to the viewers at home, we appreciate you for joining us. Also, to our caller, we appreciate you, especially to the production crew. You have been marvelous. Thank you very much. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode by 9 p.m. this evening, and we have a fresh episode for you by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning by the grace of God. I want you to enjoy your day and always have it in the back of your mind that God loves you, and so do we. Bye for now.